Tonight, a seismic event shakes the global order, one that few saw coming, but everyone will feel. The world is watching as the balance of power shifts before our eyes, sending shockwaves through boardrooms, governments, and households alike. In a move that stunned both industry insiders and global markets, China has abruptly shut down a major portion of Boeing's operations within its borders. The once bustling factory floors now stand silent, a stark symbol of a partnership suddenly fractured. This isn't just a business dispute, it's a geopolitical earthquake with immediate consequences for Wall Street, American jobs, and the future of global trade. Investors are scrambling, and the ripple effects are being felt in every corner of the financial world. The move is a direct response to recent U.S. trade policies, escalating an already tense economic standoff. What began as a war of tariffs and regulations has now erupted into a full-blown confrontation between two superpowers, each unwilling to back down. For decades, Boeing and China symbolized the promise of globalization, a partnership too big to fail. Their collaboration fueled economic growth, created jobs, and connected continents. But tonight, that illusion is gone, replaced by uncertainty and mistrust. The fallout is personal. Millions of American retirement accounts, jobs, and entire communities are now at risk. Families who once relied on the stability of Boeing's success are left wondering what tomorrow will bring. We'll break down the financial shockwaves, the history that led us here, and the human cost of this superpower standoff. From the boardrooms of multinational corporations to the kitchen tables of working families, the impact is profound and far-reaching. Tonight, we go beyond the headlines to ask, what does this mean for your future? How will this crisis reshape the world you live in, and what can you do to prepare for the changes ahead? A decision made thousands of miles away has put one of America's most iconic companies, and a pillar of our economy, in peril. The fate of Boeing now hangs in the balance, with consequences that could redefine the global economic landscape. In our interconnected world, no nation or corporation is immune. The shockwaves from this decision will disrupt supply chains, alter travel plans, and challenge the very foundations of international business. The aftershocks will be felt for years, forcing us to confront the true cost of global competition. As we navigate this uncertain future together, stay with us for in-depth analysis, expert insights, and the stories of those most affected. To truly grasp the depth of today's crisis, we must look back to a different era, a time when the world was shifting and new alliances were being forged. Boeing's partnership with China began in the 1970s, in the wake of President Nixon's historic visit to Beijing. This moment marked the start of a new chapter in global diplomacy and commerce. As China gradually opened its doors to the world, Boeing supplied the aircraft that would connect its vast and diverse territory to international markets, helping to fuel China's rapid modernization. For decades, this partnership stood as a model of international cooperation. Boeing dominated China's skies, while China became an essential part of Boeing's global supply chain, providing both skilled labor and critical components. Both sides reaped enormous benefits. Boeing gained access to one of the world's fastest-growing aviation markets, while China acquired advanced technology, expertise, and thousands of new jobs for its people. But as China's ambitions soared, so did the tensions. Trade disputes erupted, intellectual property battles intensified, and military rivalries began to cast a shadow over the once rosy relationship. China poured billions into developing its own aircraft industry, transforming itself from Boeing's eager student into a formidable competitor, determined to claim a share of the global aviation market. The partnership, once celebrated as a symbol of stability and mutual benefit, gradually became a battleground for economic dominance and political influence. With each new conflict, trust eroded further, revealing just how fragile the foundation of this relationship had become beneath the surface. Now, the foundation that once supported decades of cooperation has all but crumbled, leaving uncertainty in its wake. What was once a sturdy bridge connecting two nations is now a deep fault line, dividing interests and ambitions. The era of easy cooperation has ended, replaced by a new age of rivalry and suspicion, with the future of global aviation hanging in the balance. The breaking point came this morning. China's Ministry of Commerce announced a sweeping review of all Boeing operations, citing safety concerns and regulatory issues, thinly veiled retaliation for new U.S. tariffs. The move freezes Boeing's activities, halts aircraft deliveries, and suspends its critical Zhoushan facility, China accounts for a quarter of Boeing's commercial orders, tens of billions in jeopardy. The Zhoushan plant, Boeing's only completion center outside the US, is now idle. The White House called the move baseless, but behind the scenes, shock and urgency reign. For years, analysts believed China wouldn't risk targeting Boeing. Today, that belief is shattered. This is not a warning, it's a direct strike. The economic and political stakes have never been higher. Boeing's future, and the future of US-China business, hangs in the balance. The world is watching. The rules of engagement have changed. Zhoushan, once a symbol of US-China industrial partnership, is now a ghost town. Workers arrive to find operations suspended indefinitely, production lines halted, planes grounded, the facility silent. The shutdown hands a strategic advantage to Airbus as Chinese airlines scramble for alternatives. Hundreds of jobs, both Chinese and American, are in limbo. The plant's closure is a microcosm of a larger decoupling. What was once a bridge is now a casualty. The economic and human toll is immediate and severe. The message from Beijing is unmistakable. Cooperation is over. The consequences are just beginning. Wall Street's reaction was swift and brutal. Boeing stock plunged over 20%, erasing $30 billion in value within hours. The Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq all tumbled as panic spread. Suppliers and airlines were hit hard. If Boeing isn't building planes, no one is safe. Investors are now forced to reckon with a new reality. US-China business ties are no longer secure. The ripple effect threatens jobs, investment, and economic stability. The market's old assumptions are gone. Uncertainty is the new normal. The economic Cold War just turned hot, and the world's investors are running for cover. The crisis reaches far beyond Wall Street. Boeing supports 1.5 million American jobs across all 50 states, machinists, engineers, suppliers, entire communities. A production slowdown means layoffs, lost income, and shrinking local economies. Cities like Renton, Washington feel the pain first, but the shockwaves spread nationwide. Politicians face mounting pressure to act as the crisis becomes a central issue in the upcoming election. The shutdown exposes the risks of global supply chains and reignites calls for reshoring American manufacturing. This is not just an economic event, it's a wake-up call about national security and vulnerability. The trade-offs between efficiency and resilience are now impossible to ignore. The lesson: our economic choices have real human costs. To unpack this complex situation, we turn to Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading expert on US-China relations, whose insights help us understand the deeper implications of these recent events. Dr. Reed, this was a calculated strike. Boeing is uniquely vulnerable, deeply tied to China, symbolically American, and with a vast supply chain that stretches across continents. The company's fortunes are closely linked to the ebb and flow of global trade, making it a prime target. China's move is a direct retaliation for US tariffs, targeting its high-tech ambitions, especially in sectors like semiconductors and green technology. By hitting back at Boeing, China is sending a clear message about the costs of economic confrontation. Beijing is showing it can inflict real pain and is willing to absorb some itself, Dr. Reed explains. The Chinese government is signaling its resolve, even if it means short-term losses for its own industries. The timing is no accident. China is responding to threats against its future by targeting America's present. This is a strategic move, carefully planned to maximize leverage at a critical moment in the ongoing trade dispute. The path forward? It's perilous. Both sides have crossed a red line. De-escalation will require back-channel diplomacy and political will. Quiet negotiations, away from the public eye, may be the only way to prevent further escalation. The immediate goal for both governments is clear: reopen Boeing's operations without losing face or appearing weak to domestic audiences. But the long-term damage is done. The trust that once underpinned US-China business relations has been deeply eroded, and the ripple effects will be felt for years. This will accelerate economic decoupling. The era of business insulated from politics is over. Trust is shattered, and companies on both sides are rethinking their global strategies. The world's two largest economies are now locked in a dangerous new phase, where every move is scrutinized and the stakes are higher than ever. The stakes, nothing less than the future of global trade, supply chains, and economic stability. Every country, every industry, is watching closely. The world is watching for what comes next, as the outcome of this standoff could reshape the global economic order for a generation. In Washington, the response is urgent and divided. Lawmakers condemn China's actions, but behind closed doors, debate rages over how to respond. The administration faces a stark choice: escalate with more tariffs and risk a deeper trade war, or seek diplomatic off-ramps and risk appearing weak. Every option carries political and economic risks. The crisis has reshuffled domestic politics, empowering China hawks and putting free trade advocates on the defensive. Lobbyists and business leaders now confront the reality that their interests are hostage to geopolitics. The debate over China policy is no longer abstract, it's a defining issue for America's future. The administration must balance protecting jobs with maintaining leverage. The world is watching how Washington will act. The stakes could not be higher. We are in uncharted airspace. The Boeing shutdown is more than a corporate crisis, it's a national security wake-up call. Leaders in Washington and Beijing must step back from the brink to avoid catastrophic escalation. For Boeing, survival means rethinking its global strategy and diversifying away from China, a costly, years-long process. For workers and communities, the uncertainty is immediate and personal. For all of us, this is a moment to reconsider the balance between globalization and security. The decisions made now will shape the world for decades. We'll keep bringing you updates and analysis as this story unfolds. How should the US respond? Let us know in the comments. For now, thank you for watching, and good night.